Episode 128. It's a beautiful night in Costa del Sol, and as beautiful as all the lights are here, I'd actually prefer if it were daytime when I were recording, for all the cutscenes to happen in the day where the lighting is better, and much easier to pull out a thumbnail. But that's the least of my worries, I guess. Episode 128, I'm realizing only just recently. I've, since a few episodes ago, passed the marker for having more episodes after the end, the final mission, of the base game A Realm Reborn 2.0, which ended with the Praetorium and everything there. I spent now, after that episode, over 68 episodes, I guess, doing patch 2.x quests and other side content, outweighing the 60 episodes that I spent on the base game. I think this is kind of an attribute that's only specific to A Realm Reborn though. There are always going to be patch quests in the later expansions, but I don't think they'll quite take as much time as this one did, because I did a lot of things that were introduced after defeating the Ultima weapon, side content that was unlocked there, including the Palace of the Dead, which was kind of introduced in Heavensward, but made available in 2.x, A Realm Reborn. I'd say Final Fantasy XIV is front-loaded with things to unlock, but I guess there's quite a number of things that come out only in the actual endgame. We'll get there maybe years from now. Who knows? If I'm still making videos by then. You've come. Excellent. With that buffoon suitably distracted, we can get to more important matters. But before we proceed, what might I call you? An unremarkable name, but it will suffice. What? Unremarkable? I languished over that name for a couple of minutes. I like the name Komori. But fine. Now answer me this, Komori. You were there when the Phantom Thief, in the guise of Lady Dorilda, stole off with the Treaty Blade. Was there anything about our foe's disguise that struck you as particularly noteworthy? Identical appearance, perfect mannerisms. These two are pretty similar, and then that is for me to know. Briardian, you just insulted Komori's name, kind of. I don't think she's feeling too cooperative right now. Plus, she's just a spectator to all this. This isn't her job. She's just here to watch the buffoonery. And you're part of it. You keep your observations to yourself. That or you have none of import. Either way, I can respect a woman who would listen instead of speak. Okay, he still finds a way to insult us. There are two aspects of the Phantom Thief's costume that drew my interest. First, the utter perfection of the physical disguise. A thorough inspection of the mess left behind at the scene revealed a tiny prism sewn into the fabric. It is this stone that allows him to change appearances at will. This, however, was of secondary concern to me. I guess it was a glamour prism? Are glamour prisms like, lore-wise? Actually, yeah, I think glamour prisms do get used in the lore a fair amount of times, and even in the main story, now that I remember one time they get used, so yeah. Glamour prisms are lore compliant. From movements to mannerisms, to that utterly obnoxious personality, the thief did not merely look like Lady Dorilda, he was her. Such a feat could not be accomplished by magical trickery alone. We are dealing with a clever and thorough criminal. Not content to rely on his ample powers of disguise, he studies his targets closely, before assuming their identities. He emulates them utterly and completely, that not even their closest friends or family could detect that autism miss. All the key players have arrived at Costa del Sol 3 days ago, when preparations for the banquet began. This would afford our thief more than enough time to study his would-be target. And yet, Some disguises are more challenging than others. Put yourself in the mind of our phantom, Komoi. If you were the thief, whose identity would you first assume? We could be non-compliant again, but maybe Komoi wants to play along, just a little bit. Let's say one of the guests. After all, it's fun to play the part of the thief, isn't it? Isn't it, Komoi? Would he? The guests are well acquainted with each other. One misstep, and the thief's cover would be blown. No, there's a more logical first target. One that would afford him the opportunity to gather the knowledge he needs and at less risk. Less risk. Yes, one of the brass blades of the Gerbera. Okay, that's your theory, but Komoi's theory is that it's one of the guests. Strong in number, few of words. Able to come and go as they please. A fearsome reputation to scare away any who would draw near enough to realize something was amiss. An ideal entry into Costa del Sol for our man. Sure, but a boring one. It's more interesting to disguise as one of the thieves, or as one of the guests. Deducing as much, I made a point to question brass blades in the area. Little to my surprise, I learned that there was one man who had not been seen at his favorite alehouse for 3 days past. Our thief has not made a habit of wanton murder. Doubtless the poor man is lying naked in a ditch not far from here. In addition to general security duties, each of the blades has been assigned to serve as bodyguard for one or more of the guests. If the man can tell us of his assigned charge, like as not, his answer will reveal the current identity of our thief. Our thief would not have had the time to carry the unconscious man far. I will canvass to the immediate area. You begin your search on the outskirts of Costa del Sol. Like as not, the missing brass blade is lying naked in a ditch somewhere. Begin your search in the vicinity of Costa del Sol. With our thief pressed for time, it is not likely he would have carried the poor man far. But for 3 days, he said? Does that track? What's with this flower? Just on the ground. I'm going this way. The clouds went away at the stroke of midnight when the weather changed. I guess filming at night isn't so bad. These are intangible, for whatever reason. Who could say? Another flower on the ground. Really should be wading in the water in a swimsuit or sandals or something. I hate the idea of getting boots wet. I just feel it viscerally, vicariously, through my player character. Or making splashing noises while walking on the sand. I guess there's a little bit of water soaked in. Alright, Komoi, where is this naked man in a ditch? And there he is. Not exactly a ditch, but I guess Briardin was right on the money. So much for my theory. I actually don't remember how this goes. In fact, I don't remember the identity of our masked criminal. I guess I'll learn by the end of this questline. Excellent. You are one of the less incompetent assistants I have worked with. Thank the gods. Please free me from these chains before the snippers eat me alive. There. Now tell me all that you can remember about what happened to you, and try to be brief. We just arrived in Costa del Sol, had a briefing of sorts. Master Guguremu gave us HR orders. who we'd be looking after and the like. Had a mind to tour the area, get my bearings. Next thing I knew, I felt a thwack on the back of my head. When I came to, here I was, stripped to my skivvies. Much to the chagrin of those of us who have to look for you. You say you received orders from Master Guguremu, who was to be your charge. My memory's hazy, but, one of them was Morgant, father of the groom. The other was a Lalafellin gent from Limsa. Nalto. Now try your best to remember. Were there any other guests with whom you were ordered to interact? Come to think of it, yes. There was also the steward, Lewenhart. I was to review with him the schedule of the events, discuss the protection of key supplies, that sort of thing. Morgant, Nalto, and Lewenhart. Thank you. For an incompetent fool, your testimony has proved astonishingly enlightening. I shall see this man back to the city, and into the possession of some new clothes, after which I shall return to Costa del Sol to continue the investigation. Go on ahead of me, and for the love of the gods, just make sure that imbecile doesn't cause too much trouble in my absence. I see, I misunderstood. I thought Briardian was saying that he was currently disguised as a brassblade, but he was saying he used that as an entry point to study his target, who he's now trying to disguise as the brassblade whoever that brassblade was assigned to, one of those three. We'll be back here. I remember those boxes, I think. What is this? The flying shark? Is that it? Maybe. Anything new to say? No. I think that's the same thing he said before, so probably only new stuff with this group over here. I guess just Ellie. Inspector Biodian seems to have taken a liking to you. You should be proud. As you can see by his treatment for someone we know, the man doesn't suffer fools lightly. That might have been the same thing she said last time. Ah, there you are, my friend. And not a moment too soon, for I was about to commence my investigation in earnest. Tell me, did your, and the Inspector Biodian's avenue of inquiry, bear fruit? Morgant, Nalto, and the steward Lewenhart, you say? This does not surprise me. Yes, I had considered them all exceptionally suspicious from the start. Komori, why did you tell him that? I know why she told him that. Because she wants to watch the hijinks. With the Lapis Maiden in danger, we cannot afford a moment's delay. I, Hildebrand, shall have our thief in shackles before the Inspector returns. Fear not, friend. The Inspector shall be none the wiser, haha. If he had hoped to nab the fiend for himself, he should not have simplified the task for me so. Sorry, Ellie. Ah, there is one of our suspects standing suspiciously under that canopy over there. Just you wait, fiend. I shall rip the mask from your face and reveal you for the rogue that you are. This is your fault now, Komori. You're complicit. Same dialogue, and the same. The lucky father of the groom-to-be, or the fiend who would sully the maiden's virtue, in a matter of moments all shall be revealed. Stand back, friend. The man we pursue is a criminal mastermind. The merest slip of the tongue could put our case, nay, our very lives, in danger. But have no fear, Miss Ellie. Ready your quill. that you might record my every word as I employ the time-honored art of parley, handed down from Manderville men of ages past, to reveal our foe. I can think of a few topics that would interest my readers less than your blatherings. Just catch the thief so I can have my story, would you? Don't worry, Inspector. I brought my quill and journal too. Your adoring fans won't miss a word. Capital. This is why you are my favorite assistant, Nashu. Now behold as I ensnare our prey, with a web of words leading to his inevitable demise. Good evening, Master Gururamu, and a fine evening it must be, for you most of all. Allow me to offer my most heartfelt congratulations on your betrothal to the enchanting Miss Arabella. What is this nonsense? Arabella is my daughter, you... Just who in the seven hells are you, anyway? Guards! Guards! Now hold your chocobos, Guguramu. I recognize the lad. This is Hildebrand, agent of Inquiry and Inspector Extraordinaire. Come to save the lovely lass from the clutches of the Phantom Thief, have you? I reckon we owe the man our gratitude. Aye, Vance. The Phantom Thief, balderdash rod and rod if you ask me. That said, my betrothed must be quite the beauty, indeed, to have such rumors told about her. Perhaps she's worthy of me after all. He exudes an unusual degree of confidence for such an effort. Fashion-challenged youth. Most suspicious. He's a damn sight easier on the eyes than you. That's me Vanus. Never calm in the face of danger. Truly is father's son. A worthy heir to the Brugere Consortium, and worthy match for my daughter, I must say. Yes, I foresee many years of prosperity for our families. Or family, I should say. Ho ho. Which reminds me, Master Vanus, Arabella asked me to convey her gratitude to you for the golden clasp you sent some months ago. It has not left her neck since the day. Oh, that little trinket, 'twas nothing. Tell your daughter the greatest treasures in the realm will be hers, once we are wed. The time-honored Manderville art of parley? We'd be sleeping with the fishes now, had Morgant not spoke up on your behalf. That said, nothing about the interactions between the three struck me as particularly unnatural. Let us not rush to conclusions, Miss Ellie. A gentleman fancies a more methodical approach. Yes, everything is proceeding according to my master plan. Oops. Was I supposed to be taking this... I was supposed to be taking this down, wasn't I? Everything is proceeding according to my master plan. Don't worry, Nashu. I'm recording it. I thought only to earn the trust of the families before confronting Yalto Nalto and Lewenhart, who have aroused my suspicion from the start. Come, we have a thief to apprehend. Surprisingly, the same dialogue. That's fair. And the sun is rising. Stars are gone. I'm getting the daytime I wanted. Maybe it'll stay daytime and stay good weather when all of the high-quality cutscenes start appearing. Renting out Master Gagabuju's private property would be almost unthinkable for most folk, but Gil talks, and neither the Brugere Consortium nor the East Aldernard Trading Company are in any danger of running their coffers dry. No, I definitely read that before. Oops. Yalto Nalto and Lewenhart. One of the two wears a mask, but which? With a few words, all will be revealed. I've not seen your faces around here. With the East Aldernard Trading Company, are you? Why, yes, good sir. Very much with them. Some might even say we are the East Aldernard Trading Company. Oh ho, pleasure to meet you. Do tell, is the Lapis Maiden as lovely as they say? Sinana here is no slouch herself, but like me she's getting on in years. No offense intended, my dear. No reaction from the wife. Incredible. I guess she's used to it. Oh, but where are me manners? Yalto Nalto of the Brugier Consortium, and this is me wife, Sinana. I look forward to many profitable dealings with you and yours, in the moons and years to come. I dare say this wedding, and the joining together of our family businesses, couldn't be happening at a better time. What with all manner of fellow beasts and beastmen taking aim at our wares. Why, just the other day a shipment of imported foodstuffs was waylaid by the mandragoras. Nasty buggers, a lot of them. If I were 20 years younger, I'd dice them up myself, and make a salad out of. You have heard of the mandragoras, haven't you? But of course. I once spent a year honing body and mind with the fist of Ralgar. My fellow monks and I would chant several hundred mantra wutsits a day. And your food stores were occasionally raided by Roos's band of rogue vegetables known as the mandragoras, yes? Would it kill you to read the Mittel Eye and educate yourself from time to time? A fearsome lot they are. Rumor has it, they'll not rest until every fruit or vegetable harvested for consumption has been freed from captivity. Why, they struck at the larder here just days ago. Our supplies were decimated. Fear not, milady. I was able to arrange an emergency shipment to replace the stolen produce. It arrived safely some time ago. Settle down, Sinana. Forgive me, wife. She's always saying how meat is bad for her figure. And with that, I'd best go prepare me speech. Carry on, lads. Criminy. None of these three were suspicious in the least. But we must not give up hope, lest he of many faces have the last laugh. Where there is a will, a gentleman shall find a way. Come, Nashu, we must move quickly, or the Lapis Maiden shall not be the only one to come to harm. You speak so fast, Inspector. The sign of a quick mind, I'm sure. Now where was I? Give up hope? He of many faces will laugh last. The Lapis Maiden shall not be the only one to come to harm. I'm not sure that captures the Inspector's intended meaning. But this is no time for us to be standing around. Inspector Briardian will be back any moment now, and he's not the type to suffer excuses. Quite so, Miss Ellie. Fortunately, I have a plan. Let us investigate the foodstuffs of which Master Lewenhart spoke. Should we find any contradictions in his testimony, we can consider the man a prime suspect. Inspector Briardian will be back before long. Come, Nashu. This is no time to delay. And of course, no change. Yes. Yeesh, I don't envy that guy. Luckily I skipped that phase of wearing embarrassing armor by getting this armor pretty early on. And here we are. Those intangible boxes that were inexplicably here for some reason. They're part of the quest. I remember. Some of those coconuts don't look like coconuts. You don't say. Look at this. Now there's water. Now there isn't. Now there's water. That is how the waves work, Nashu. It's fun, isn't it? Who are you, Nashu, anyway? I don't think I really know. Hildebrand is the son of Godbert Manderville, and the entire Manderville line, I guess. But who is Nashu? When did she start following the Inspector? As far as I know, she was just kind of there, even in the 1.0 cutscenes that first introduced Hildebrand and that whole questline. Maybe there's some lore on her somewhere that I don't know. These crates must contain the foodstuffs of which Master Lewenhart spoke. At a glance, they do not appear particularly suspicious. But our investigation must not be deterred. Crates of assorted foodstuffs and a veritable host of luscious-looking coconuts. It appears our man Lewenhart spoke true. Egads. Are those explosives I spy amongst these coconuts? Perhaps I spoke in haste. It would appear that we have found our phantom thief after all. Oh, those are mine, Inspector. I was looking for a place to set them down, you see, and those coconuts were looking awfully lonely. Nashu, far be it from me to cast doubt on your choice of hobbies, but what in the name of the 12 would possess you to bring your creations to an investigation? Well, they were so helpful in jogging your memory that one time, and I just thought, does this mean you won't be needing this piece of driftwood either? Your enthusiasm is always admirable, Nashu, but in this event, I fear it is somewhat misdirected. Now set the driftwood down over there, and concentrate on taking notes, like the astute assistant you are. I say, we are most fortunate that confounding Inspector Briardian is otherwise occupied at the moment. Were he to chance upon this scene, he would veritably explode in rage. Confounding, is that a new one, or has he used that one before? I think it's a new one. It's probably different every time. Now, let us dispose of these things before an errant ember sends us all to a fiery demise. Confounding Inspector Briardian. Explode. A fiery demise. Got it. Are you sure about that? Uh-oh. Don't look now, but someone has returned at the absolute worst possible time. You two were supposed to be keeping an eye on the suspects and staying out of trouble, yes? The inspector will have a fit if he sees you here. But Miss Ellie, should Inspector Briardian come upon these explosives, the consequences will be even more dire. Komoy and I will see that the inspector keeps a wide berth of this beach. You two just get out of here, and be quick about it. Quick thinking, Miss Ellie. Come, Nashu. We shall return for your creations once Inspector Briardian has been led safely from the scene. Investigation calls us, and we must heed its cry. You ruined the fun, Ellie. Oh well. All we have to do is lure him away from these crates. That shouldn't be too difficult, right? So, Hildebrand has managed thus far not to destroy anything. Consider me something almost resembling impressed. Aha, indeed. But enough about Hildebrand. Komoy and I have been wanting to hear your latest series. We should go somewhere quiet and... An excellent idea, Miss Ellie. Ah, yes. That spot just over there by the crates should suffice. There, of all places, but surely we could find somewhere more scenic? I am not here on vacation. I am here to solve a case. Besides, we cannot afford to have our conversation overheard. That junk-littered beach should afford us some welcome privacy. Yes, Inspector, privacy indeed. Bloody hells. Don't worry, Komoy, I'll figure out some way to lead him clear of the bombs. Don't mind us, we're just watching. The aura of stupidity. Even Ellie is getting sucked into the hijinks, becoming a bit of a buffoon herself. It's fun. I think the tide is rising. We really should move to higher ground. Is it just me, or is there a bit of a chill in the air? Perhaps we should go someplace warm. It's the beach, Ellie. It's warm. I, for one, welcome a respite from the sweltering heat. Besides, this will not take long. If you insist, Inspector. Though the questioning of a brass blade Through the questioning of a brass blade attacked by our quarry, I have identified 3 individuals, most likely to be our thief in disguise. To wit, Morgant, Yolto, and Lewinhart. The 3 of us shall split up, with each of us keeping watch over... Ahem. Are the 2 of you listening? Of course we are. Beg pardon, Inspector. You look unwell, Miss Ellie. Perhaps you are right. I, too, feel a chill wind blowing in. Mayhap we should continue our conversation elsewhere. But there is no need. Wait here, and I shall build us a fire. Methinks the Inspector has taken leave of his senses. The chance of locating suitable kindling on these barren shores is infinitesimal. Here we are. This piece of driftwood should serve perfectly, and as fortune would have it, I happen to have a flintstone on my person. Well done, Nashu. Aura of stupidity. There is no cause for alarm. 'Tis not blood that courses through the Inspector's veins, but ice. I could not fathom a series of events that would lead such a calm and composed individual to lose his firm grip on that fiery torch. Remarkable insight, Inspector. I must record these words for posterity. It's fine. What have we here? Everything is proceeding according to my master plan. Could this be another challenge from the Fiend? Surely you jest, Inspector. It looks nothing like his usual card, see? Doubtless it's just the idle ravings of some madman. Perhaps so, but we must exercise due caution. There are 2 more pages. Give up hope? He of many faces will laugh last. It is not the lapis maiden alone that shall come to harm. It is more direct than his previous challenges, but there can be no doubt as to the sender. What is this talk of another victim? The final page holds the answer, no doubt. The final page? Confounding Inspector Briardian will meet A fiery demise? Thanks, Nashu. Great work as always. All that setup for this punchline. Truly, I think, one of the better jokes in the Hildebrand questline. I like the choreography, all the setup, Nashu writing the note and everything. You saw through the fiend's ruse, but how? Let's just call it reporter's intuition. Are you hurt? A ringing in my ears, but otherwise no worse for the wear. You have my gratitude. Hildebrand Manderville, were you able to learn aught of the fiend who made this ignoble attempt on my life? I exhausted every effort, Inspector, yet I fear our quarry proves ever elusive. Excellent. I might have died of shock if you had. At any rate, our foe has revealed himself as no mere thief, but a madman who will resort to cold-blooded murder. We must redouble our vigilance, lest the others come to harm. Vigilance. Yes, vigilance is the order of the day. What in the names of the gods? Those teeth. Those vegetables cost a fortune, and they're ruined. Ruined. Agent of inquiry? More like agent of injury and incompetence. You are to replace the supplies that you destroyed before the banquet begins, or I will see the entire lot of you rot in jail. Whenever they bust out the fun choreography like that, those are my favorite parts of the Hildebrand quests. And they do it quite often. I would ask how he survived an explosion at point-blank range, but something tells me that's one more mystery better left unsolved. Yeah, about that. Well, later. Thanks to our quick thinking, the bombs are no more, and the inspector is none the wiser. 'Tis a shame to see good food go to waste, though. Those coconuts look positively luscious. Clearly, our thief has decided that my prodigious intellect presents the greatest threat to his schemes. Perhaps he is a more clever man than I thought. Aura of stupidity. Even you, Ryardian. Is that a fish? I'm getting hungry. I think it's like a reaction. When Hildebrand and Nashu stand next to each other, it radiates some kind of all-encompassing, expanding aura of stupidity, slowly transforming everyone and everything around them. Komoi isn't safe. Oh, it's these two. They're just standing around now. I guess these three might have different dialogue? No. Is that person just sitting on the table? Oh, both of them are. Is that just something people do while on vacation? What was that terrible explosion coming from the beach? Is everyone safe? Fear not. The fiend's artless attempt on my life has been thwarted. Sadly, your food supply did not escape unscathed. Master Guguremu bids that the damaged ingredients be replaced with all speed. Good gods, this is no thief. This is a madman. As for replacing the ingredients, I fear that will prove a difficult task. Those crates contained imported vegetables of a considerable rarity, you see. Vegetables that are in particularly short supply these days. What with the mandragoras at large. Even if I were to place the order immediately, it would likely take days to arrive. The mandragoras? I have heard of that fell band. Tell me, what manner of vegetables did they steal? The rarest was an import from the Far East. I do not recall the name, but it very closely resembled the Eorzean dragon pepper, save for its color, which was a deep purple. Dragon pepper, I guess that's their fantasy equivalent of a chili pepper. Methinks you does worry too much, Master Lewinhart. Of course our action is clear. We need only storm into the den of these overgrown weeds, and steal your precious purple dragon peppers right back. I would advise against that, Inspector. These are no ordinary mandragoras, but rather a bloodthirsty band of killers, given succulent flesh. Even the brass blades of the Gerbera proved unable to resist them. Oh ho, a formidable foe indeed. Were only there a brave soul in our midst, with a want for taking on fearsome enemies, with not a shred of concern for her own well-being. Your eyes, friend, they speak to me. They say, I, yes I, shall vanquish these rogue vegetables and deliver the purloined goods back to their rightful owner. Are you sure that's what Komoi's eyes are saying? But yeah, she'll do it. Anything to continue the fun hijinks. You are truly a godsend, adventurer. One Sundamo of the Yellow Jackets has been charged with defending the roads from the Mandragoras. If anyone would have knowledge of their current whereabouts, it would be him. Without those ingredients, Master Guguremu is like to cook me instead. Please, friend, you're my only hope. A gentleman would never let a lady face danger alone. Let us away to Limsa together. To Limsa? Is that where it was? Oh, that's where the yellow jacket was. No change in dialogue. In the plaza, huh? I didn't think the quest would actually take us into the plaza. If you come for the Mandragoras, I fear you're half a bell too late. As were we, blast it all. To hear the poor merchant tell it, no sooner had he opened his cargo hold to check on a shipment of vegetables, then did an onion turn on him, screeching bloody murder. Fled his own vessel in sheer terror, he did. By the time he came to his senses, it had set sail without him. The merchant left for Aleport, hoping to recoup his losses. If you've a mind to go after the culprits, you might lend an ear to his sad tale. Ah, is the thrill of the chase not invigorating, friend? The ferry docked by the fisherman's bottom will carry us to Aleport. Let us be swiftly on our way. This guy is just a normal guy that stands right here. For very basic stuff. Huh. I guess if you started in Limsa Laminsa, that would be the NPC to talk to. That tells you all about the Aetherite. The equivalent in Old All was some Lalafell guy, who I don't remember. Oh wait, we're going to Aleport. Hildebrand said we could take a ferry, but we can just teleport. Well, what have we here? Eek, don't sneak up on me like that. I thought you were a feral turnip, a murderous eggplant or something like that. Think I jest, do you? You'd be singing a different tune if a shot of tomato juice almost took out your eye, as it did mine. My eye. By the time I'd regained my wits, they'd already set sail with me ship, and me livelihood. I'm ruined. Ruined. If I never see another bleeding onion till the end of me days, it'll be too soon. I have these as mounts on my main character, but that's a way later thing. I've Sanctuary. To hear most say it, the Mandragores are a nasty lot, a right pain in the arse to farmers and provisioners the realm over. But let me tell you, friend, that ain't the least of it. Freeing their fellow fronds from our larders and tables is but the beginning. The bulbous blackguards have a far grander scheme. Revolution. Madness, you say? Take a ferry to the Isles of Umbra and see with your own eyes. A veritable vegetable kingdom where eggplants and turnips rule with an iron fist. This muscle-bound fellow with so dim expression. I could swear I've seen his face somewhere before. Bugger me, if it ain't the undead overlord what fancies himself a gentleman inspector. Which would make you... Aye, could it be? The adventurer what bested the thieving duelist in single combat. Word travels quick. I want to say yes, but I guess I'll make the executive decision and say no, just because I want to see how this conversation goes when I do. It's probably nothing special. Not just brave, but humble too. Else, if it'd been me what did the deed, I'd be shouting my name from the top of every mountain in Eosia. But that's neither here nor there. Look, I don't know about you, but I ain't so keen on the notion of calling a bloody tomato your grace. And that's exactly the fate we're in for if we don't nip this revolution in the bud. And I mean that, literally. As we speak, the Mandragores are planting themselves a whole army of their own kind on the Isles of Umbra. You'd be doing the whole realm a favor if you could go there and uproot them before the harvest comes. Many a case have I solved in my day, but I've not matched wits with sentient plant life before. This should prove quite exhilarating. To the Isles of Umbra. Same dialogue. I don't know how to pronounce that. You feel a hostile gaze upon you. You feel a hostile gaze upon you. Feeling nervous yet, Komoi? Bring out short stack. Horror is far more digestible when you have a companion by your side. And things are looking pretty horrific right about now. You feel a hostile gaze upon you. Friend, my pursuit of the mandragores has led me beneath the surface. Yes, they must be down here, somewhere. In a moment. Interesting. We've seen this before, I think. I've maybe had it on camera, this fate going on, but I didn't realize you could actually trigger a fate manually like this, with a questline. Sensing weakness in the realm following the calamity, 5 rogue vegetables, well technically 4, and a fruit, have risen up to rid the land of all meat, including you. Cool off the mandragores, before their verdant insurgents gain steam. Fire will do the job, surely. Oops. They're going crazy. Should I be doing AoE? I'm not sure. I'm doing my AoEs wrong. Maybe I just focus on one at a time. No, I need to learn the AoE. The rotation. And then some of this. And then flare, now that we have enough MP for it. Then this, blizzard, and freeze. Then switch back to fire 2. I realize I'm not hitting a lot of them because they keep on running off and all that, but I'm mainly just doing this to practice AoEs. There's a weird rule about Flare where you can't cast it if you don't have enough MP, even though you should be able to cast it with any amount of MP. Oh my god. This is probably not the time to be practicing Black Mage. Maybe I should just, switch to single target after all. That knight has a lot of HP. Oh no, he just took damage. Kind of a weird fate. Manually triggered, different font. And I guess it's not naturally occurring either. It probably only happens when the Hildebrand quest goes on. I don't think there are any more fates like that in the game. They don't really do fates as a quest step for Hildebrand beyond this point, I don't think. It was just a weird little leftover, I guess. That and the fate that we had to do in Southern Danaland to kick off the entire thing. Impeccably fought, my friend. I only wish I had seen the battle with my own eyes. You may go on ahead to Costa del Sol. I shall be along as soon as I extricate myself. It's hard to practice the AoE rotation on Black Mage when all the enemies are doing a bunch of AoE attacks on you, and you have to constantly be moving. The AoE spells on Black Mage are actually, they take quite a long time to cast, more so than other spells, which already take quite a long time on Black Mage. What took you so long, friend? The Isles of Umbra are but a short sprint away. I trust you have brought along the goods we so bravely reclaimed. You return. I feared you might end up a tasty snack for a crazed head of cabbage. Foodstuffs pilfered from the stores in Costa del Sol. The stolen foodstuffs. You saved my hide today. Oh, but I must see if those purple dragon peppers are intact. Master Guguremu is quite particular about his seasonings. Oh, can I come too? I've never seen a purple dragon pepper before. That can only be good. I'm glad. That wild vegetable chase was a pleasant diversion, but it is time we return to the case. Now there must be some clue that yet eludes us. Core, the peppers have changed color. What's this? Peppers that possess the same powers of disguise as our many-faced foe. A gentleman must needs investigate. A striking shade of blue, quite far from the purple that Master Lewenhart described. Perhaps we recovered the wrong crate. But look here, Inspector. The crate is clearly marked for Costa del Sol. How curious. Did I say purple? I meant a purplish blue, or bluish purple. The two colors are really quite similar when you think about it. These peppers have a most distinctive hue. No man could reasonably mistake it for any shade of purple. Unless, of course, he was wearing a very particular sort of eyewear at the time. Huh, the charade is up. After the man. It is as I suspected all along. The goggles have proved the key to cracking the case. With speed, Nashu. The fiend must be brought to justice. How fun. I didn't realize the goggles were actually playing a part. The color changing and all that. Interesting detail. Well, while they chase after the guy, Komoy is going to sit down. After all, it's not like this is her job. Why is it raining over here? Not a very good roof, huh? Guess we'll take shelter over here. While everyone else is off chasing the thief and getting sweaty, for Komoi, now would be a good time to take a break.